Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. And thank you so much for joining us here on this truly terrific Thursday as we invite you to be a part of Talk Today. It is open line 949-8837, or you can hit us up on our toll-free line at 1-800-534-TALK. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email Talk Today at candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you for joining us here as we invite you to be a part of our discussion. It is Thursday, and as you know, the Legislative Assembly is on the break, so it's great to ensure that the entire country gets a chance to see our democracy at work. Trust and pray that the parliamentarians, together with all of the supporting staff, not only enjoy themselves over there, but have a safe and productive time. It is open line, though, 949-8837 or 1-800-534-8255. Hey, why don't you call and give us a shout and share your thoughts with us. Let us hear what's on your mind and what is it that you're thinking of that's important. Hey, we invite you to be a part of it. You can also WhatsApp 925-3261. It's a great day, and even better because you're a part of it and making your contribution. 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Okay, you to share with us. And of course, you maybe have heard part of our ongoing partnership with our Celebrate Cayman team. Got a chance for you to not only win a couple of good prizes, but equally to learn a little bit more about our history, especially in relation to our coat of arms. So we're playing a little game of trivia. Maybe spark the memory, perhaps insight us into a wonderful history that we have and encourage us to become knowledgeable and aware and informed and involved. It is open line, though. We take your calls at 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8837 as we get ready to join our first caller. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
I was waiting for you because I went to study last night, so I'm ready for that question from yesterday.
So you're waiting. Okay, now let me gather now. How long have you been studying last night? Were you putting
not long.
A quick 4-hour study, or you did a 4-minute thing?
No. I said as he come. But you said today, tomorrow, you promised it tomorrow as you come on.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you're going to have it.
All right, so now, what question should we ask, you think?
But no, the one from yesterday, you said you was going to make it today. You can't change your mind. You can't do this to me.
Hey, hold on a minute. Isn't it a woman's prerogative to change your mind? Should a man equally?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I intend to ask that question. Or should I ask it first, or should I ask another question first? What do you think?
No, man, the same one from yesterday. You promised before you go off air.
All right. There we go, right? So, do you remember the question?
Yeah, well, what about the what year, not the date, but for the Court of Arms?
Okay. Let me read the question exactly as they have given it to us, right? This is our team over at Celebrate Cayman, right? So the question in the paper that they give it to us reads, on what date did the government issue a notice requesting all interested Caymanians who had ideas on the subject of the preparation of a coat of arms for the Cayman Islands to submit ideas with illustrations, right? So, what was that date? You need some more hints?
14th of May.
14th of May.
Yes,
Wow.
1958. Yeah.
14th of May, 1958.
Yes.
You think we should give up that answer, Mr. Fox? Yeah. He said he has no clue. He wasn't around then. He's only 4. No, that's a good guess all the same though. I mean, you got a day, a month, and a year, but unfortunately, no, ma'am. That is incorrect.
Okay.
Good try though, but I'm glad that you were willing to play along.
All right.
All right, have a wonderful, blessed, and
too. I know
very
about it.
enjoyable afternoon. That's the question has caught a couple of us off guard. A number of good attempts thus far. I mean, one came, I would say almost inches within. But hey, what they say, you play a football match and you lose by 1-0. It's only one goal. But it still didn't win. 949-837 or 1-800-534-8255. What's interesting though is that and part of I guess what drove the impetus for Ray, Bank, and myself putting together this month to see what I was saying was that we have such a wonderful, rich, fabric in our society, an excellent history, so much with that not many of us really know enough about, and yet we sometimes cry it down, and other times we don't really get a chance to talk about it. So maybe just this little snippet as we celebrate our coat of arms 60th anniversary. Here's some questions that the Celebrate Cayman team have put together, and we're going to certainly ask you to participate. We'll ask other questions as well, but that one is there. Quick sort of question for you to help me along. So this morning I got a chance to chat with a couple of individuals. Now, I hope that this isn't said disrespectfully or inappropriately. If you have Caymanian status, or if you were born here and you're considered a citizen of this country, in my mind, the law makes no distinction, so neither should we. So here are a number of individuals, and I just call them Caymanian, who have said, they like the fact that we have this interest in democracy. On one hand, it's very much based, without question, on the UK's model, with the failed, Westminster system, as they put it, with the lack of adequate checks and balances, just like, how we see in some places, seem to work well for politicians, with an ever-increasing, presence and adoption of some of the American failures as well when it comes to being able to hire and fire and appoint. And again, the politicians can do fairly much, what is within the law, and sometimes that is vague and sometimes deliberately wide, according to these individuals' perspective. But the fact that, we still have relative safe, unfettered access to many of our politicians, some more so than others, not because of family, but probably because of, association through other means, financial, business, or otherwise. But then the seemingly ease with which some things can transpire. Remember the purchase recently of the property, seemingly in the South Sound area for, expanded public beach park facilities and the like. Even though, and if you gather, I'm trying to repeat with some of the same level of perceived contempt, disdain, and sarcasm that I believe was oozing and dripping from the fellas this morning. They said the park is not far down the road from that, given to the country by a private developer, but the government felt it necessary, maybe it was politically expedient, to do another one. When there are other things, they shared, hey, we have probably going to be more than $10 million being considered to be expended for controlling green iguanas, when the answer probably initially could be, better achieved if we put it in the hands of private individuals, give people the tools, the resources, the legal means by which they can employ their resources, whether it's use of air rifles or otherwise, and let private owners on private lands under their control be able to, eradicate the pests, because that's the way we've termed them, she said. They said, you see whether the boardwalk is going to benefit many or some, or it's going to be a wonderful bump in property values for those immediately affected by it. Hey, great. The fact that it isn't created to any great exercise, just probably a leisure gazing and the like. Perhaps it doesn't even seem to bother any, but we expend millions and so be it. But she said recently that the announcement by the government to create perhaps another ministry may sound excellent, may sound like the way forward, but to call it international trade and investment, wondering to what extent this is necessary and how is it going to work and who is it going to fill it and how all the things. Now, they didn't get into it as much as I would have liked to, but perhaps maybe because they're early days, perhaps because of all the other things that are happening. But as they shared, I thought it's interesting to see how many of us, as Caymanians, as registered voters in many instances, are very much informed, involved, or at least willing to question. The only sad thing is that there's still this great fear that if they say anything publicly, so I guess they'll use, as I said to someone, on the talk shows and some of us as pawns to do their bidding. And, their words get into the public domain and then they don't necessarily always have to bear any negative sort of backlash. But perhaps that's what democracy needs, a few to champion. And I say that to hopefully commend more of us to be willing to be those public pundits who are not only speaking because they want to, share something, but because they're genuinely convinced that what they have to say is of absolute value and importance. They're taking time to research, to investigate, to review, to become informed, so that as they are able to share what it is that they want to share, it's from a perspective of considered opinion. And then whether we agree with it or disagree, at least it gives us a chance to think about it and be able to respond in kind. So we may take a counter view, we may be able to complement what they're sharing, or we may be actually be able to say, wait a minute, what you're saying is this, but have you also considered these other things? And those are the things that cause us to have a healthy democracy. And I listen to these individuals, I recognize that here is a place for some that has been home for a long time. Some, generations. Some, well, maybe only a few decades. But this is where, as one said, not only has it been a place where it's been an incredible source of wealth, but an opportunity to contribute and such a wonderful future for, his offspring. His children now are coming into their own. They have opportunities for scholarship and greater development, or whether they're playing sport or otherwise, but an opportunity for a life that probably, more than likely, wouldn't have been even fractionally possible in any other country. Certainly not back in, his country of birth. Not that that's a bad place, or that it's a great place, or that it's a, political turmoil or economic upheaval. None of those things. But just that there's so much here. And the reason why I was glad he emphasized that, because it should remind us of what we have here in this country, what potentially we are at risk of losing, that safety, that security, that opportunity for success. And because of having people like that show their appreciation and genuinely seem to value not just the financial windfall or the economic gains or the like that they have, but the fact that such a wonderful place, whether you can go out on the beach in the evenings, whether you can take out a boat and rather safely use it just within a protected reef area. Hey, it's an excellent thing that some of us only hear about or read about. Well, it's going to be open line, so we invite you to be a part of a discussion. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Let's pause and take a break, and when we come back, more talk today.
Mark your calendars. Radio Cayman's Breeze Fusion Walk Run is coming. Sister Islanders, save the date. Saturday, November 24th. Breeze FM and Radio Cayman will be returning to the BRAC for the 3rd annual BRAC Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run at the public beach on South Side. This year's 5K event will be raising funds for the So-and-So Club. Registration is only $15 for adults and $10 for kids. For more information, visit caymanactive.com.
Did you know that you can download free hurricane preparedness brochures from the Water Authority's website? Visit us online at www.waterauthority.ky to learn more about how you can prevent damage and minimize danger in the event of a storm. Prepared, be aware, be safe. This hurricane preparedness tip is brought to you by Water Authority Cayman, suppliers of the world's most popular drink.
RC Fusion featuring Billboard pop hit songs and more from the 70s to the 90s.
RC Fusion.
Weekdays from 10 a.m. till 12. RC Fusion, brought to you by Merengue Town. Take a walk on the wild side. It's time to feel the rhythm, time to feel the vibes. It's time for Merengue Town. RC Fusion.
RC Fusion. Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you for joining us. It's 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. Of course, you can WhatsApp 925-3261. It's open line. It's just another beautiful day. And quick message. Someone just sent through and said, Cayman was. Unfortunately, they put capital letters. What looked like, as I read it, bold. Cayman was a wonderful place. Not so much now. Now, I'm not going to hopefully say this to offend or disrespect the person's perspective, but how many of us agree with that? It used to be a lot better. It was. We're losing it. If that person's view is something that resonates with you, let me know. And if it was, is it still possible to regain what once was? I'll give you as an example 3 things. All right? 1, let's take people who are out and about playing in their neighborhoods. Children, teenagers riding their bikes. Sadly, I think we've missed some of the concerns that have been expressed. We're either taking one side of the coin and not seeing the other. But let's take the complaints that people have had, for a number of years now, in particular, where they said, whether it's in their yards or whether they're walking and the like, they've had people make complaints of being attacked, bitten, terrorized, whatever word you want to use, hopefully not intent to be inflammatory, that they are being chased by pit bulls and the like, from children playing in the yards to riding their bikes in the neighborhoods, the people exercising, walking, running, cycling and the like, to people going to the beach, not only having limited or hindered access to the beach, but when they get there, not being able to enjoy it, maybe because of the behavior of others, maybe the seemingly commercial activity that is taking place, not just those who are vending, but those who are operating, water sports-based businesses that seem to have passed and utilizing some of the public beaches as their base of operations. Now, that may have been curtailed somewhat, but is it still occurring? Someone shared that not long ago in the South Sound area, a lot of water sports activities were taking place and impeded what otherwise was a peaceful, quiet, sort of restful area. 2, someone shared the ever-increasing notion that no matter what we have, you get the sense that many people don't seem to have that same level of respect for the environment. So, they'll dump their garbage along the roadsides, even though there's been an attempt to have it cleaned just the day before, either a voluntary operation or paid by some people in the community. Those are simple things that are problems. What are we doing to address it? 8949-8837 or 1-800-534-8255. And as we look at this here, trying to see what Mr. Fox, what are you saying, sir? All right. As we go to our voice note.
Yeah, good evening, Sterling. I hope you're enjoying the rain. Good day. I just got a thought in my mind about the dock. For me, I think the best place to put that dock would be up at Pedro Castle. You laugh. You know the reason why I say that? They have not built any ship in the world yet that can touch the bottom there. That is the deepest water around the island there in Northwest Point by the turtle farm. And putting it up at Pedro Castle, they got a lot of rock there that they can build the port on. And the whole area there come right with all of that land there that they can use to build the port. And number one, it'll save them from dredging. The money that they take to dredge, that can be saved to work on the port. And we can have the Georgetown Harbor, which was created by God for his purposes and for his reason. And nobody don't have to touch it. And everybody will be happy. But you're talking about deep water. Pedro Castle is the area for that. So that is my thoughts on it. But I raised up in Georgetown, right on the waterfront there. I spent my time there all day and every day. And the common Northwesters, I see water going up to the post office. So just think about that. They had a place there called the Old Cayman Arms. The seas used to go right over that top. So just let the people that want to build that port think about it. They don't know about down there. I know. I grew up there and I raised there. And leave the Georgetown Harbor where God created for his beauty and for his reason. Thank you.
Well, we certainly appreciate that individual sharing those thoughts with us, as we invite you to do the same. If you want to send it via WhatsApp, you can text it through, or you can do as that last caller did. Listen, type a voice note, send it through, and we can get your comments shared with our listeners as you choose. Our WhatsApp is 925-3261, or if you want, you can call us toll free at 1-800-534-8255. Now, in the discussion earlier, the small group was sharing that there are a number of things that happen in this country, and unfortunately, perhaps for the most part, there's a growing divide. We've seen it, they said, in the past with the economics. Talk about the haves and have-nots, and that growing disparities, becoming even wider and wider and wider. Those who are making money at the top continue to make a lot. Those at the bottom continue to be displaced, and then there are many in the middle who just slip in without realizing how fast and how far they've slipped. But they're sharing that there's also another growing divide, and whether we fail to recognize the racism and the prejudices that are happening within our society, whether it's ethnicity, color, or otherwise, it's becoming very, very obvious that it's happening. They shared that we're quick to get into the discussions about homosexuality and whether people should be able to enter into same-sex marriages, but we're not seeing the greater picture of what's happening. Now, one individual in the discussion shared that, unfortunately, when we started to talk about independence and self-government and autonomy and the like, perhaps we're failing to see that maybe it's being driven by some people who have another political agenda, who may have selfish sort of reasons for wanting what they're proposing or having proposed, as some have shared. But isn't it a time that one of them said that we look at being a bigger player in our own destiny, whether that's through independence or otherwise? Maybe there's another opportunity before us. But unfortunately, as she shared, the wider public is not only being excluded from that discussion, or is deliberately excluding themselves, but they're to match, chagrin. They said they're being, ill-informed and not even aware of what may be transpiring. She picked a number of media clippings over the last 2 years or so, and she said if you just look at some of the stories, the articles, the letters today, the opinion pieces, different pieces, she believes that it paints a particular picture, and one that, if we're not careful, in her view, she believes that it would cause this great division within the country. And unfortunately, if it's a case where those who are in the know and who have the financial wherewithal are driving some of these things, from the pace of development to the growth in population to the political sort of makeup of our legislative assembly to the active things that get in the public domain, she shared how is it that some applications for planning permission seem to sail right through, at least according to media accounts, and others are hindered. Not just very, very complex things, but very simple things. She gave us as an example, in a particular neighborhood, someone wanted to make an addition to the property to accommodate an aging family member, and was told, well, this would offend the planning, zoning, or whatever it is in that area. And he said, well, wait a minute, down the road you have this almost multifamily development. Here I'm just trying to create something. Over here, just two doors down, as it were, someone has this thing, and it feels to be the same. So what's the problem with me here? Just frustrations. Now, again, these are her contentions, but are there things like that others are experiencing that, to their minds, it isn't anything that seems to be within a sort of precedent, or you can follow and understand, because if you did A, then therefore B would follow, and then C, and so on. It just seems to be, as she has alleged, that it depends on who it is and when it is, perhaps who has frustrated the process, who is willing to play the game, or some other, in her contention, nefarious reason that transpires that causes people to either get somewhere or perhaps even hindered from getting. Are those things that could, as she's contended, undermine our democracy? Well, you tell us. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. As we get ready to go to our break, let's ask the question again. That question that has perhaps stumped a few of us. And then if we don't get an answer, we'll move on to some other questions. But we're going to put it on the table. Maybe, you might find a resource somewhere. The question is, what date did the government issue a notice requesting all interested Caymanians who had ideas on the subject of the preparation of a coat of arms to submit ideas with illustration? So, government looking for a date that the government is asking people to come forward with their ideas and some drawings and the like. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. If you trust me, I will accept an answer on our WhatsApp. So you can 925-3261 is our WhatsApp number. And you can use a voice note as well. Hey, nothing is a try but a failure. You get it right. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Brand Source Home Gallery has been appointed the exclusive Cayman supplier for Duravit bathroom products. Duravit is the leading international manufacturer of bathroom ceramics, tubs, and showers, recognized around the world for beautiful, functional products. Winner of top industry awards, Duravit collaborates with leading European designers to provide the most elegant and innovative bath products. If you're ready to bring style, comfort, and innovation to your bathroom, visit Brand Source Home Gallery to see the new Duravit showroom and meet the in-house bath designer. Whether you're planning a functional family bathroom or a personal spa retreat, browse the Duravit collection and be inspired. Brand Source Home Gallery, delivering a new standard in custom designed bathrooms. Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Is this thing working? Give me some sound over here. every Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Radio Cayman Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show for your radio, featuring Will Sinatra.
Now, sound is everything.
Enjoy a mix of pop, hip-hop, reggae, and calypso, and an entertainment trivia section. The Super Jam Show is fueled by the proud sponsorship of the Cayman Islands Football Association. SIFA, building a better future for Cayman football.
We are in the hurricane season, and knowing what to do after a hurricane can be as important as preparing for the storm. After the passage of a hurricane, seek medical attention if it is needed at hospitals and clinics for those persons who are injured. Do not touch power lines and cables that are down. They may be active. Report them to 911 or the utilities emergency hotlines. Broken tree limbs should be removed from around homes or buildings if possible. This hurricane information has been brought to you by Breeze FM and Radio Cayman.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today, 949-8837 or 1-800-534-8255. Hey, you want to share your thoughts with us? You might even want to play along as we, in partnership with the Celebrate Cayman team, put some questions on the table as part of a little quiz to get us not just in our spirit of celebrating the 60th anniversary of a coat of arms, but learn a little bit about our history as well, especially in relation to the coat of arms. So maybe you can answer these questions. Well, the ones on the table is looking for a date when the government asks, sort of formally issued a notice requesting people to come forward and with their ideas about the coat of arms, give their drawings and the like. Well, let's see what you're saying. All right. Now, thing with history sometimes is things happen, and we look at on what date did these things happen. So maybe that's why some people don't like history as much, because they got to recall dates. Some say, well, let's just give me the facts. We know this happened around about this time, but are they important? Are they as important? Some people share. Well, dates are what it is. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Let's try another question. I don't believe that we should beat children up because they don't get an answer right. We should help them to get other, opportunities to perhaps, build their confidence and get the momentum going, and then eventually they'll come back. But let's go to our phones first. Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Yes, Sterling. I called to answer the question. Hold on, I'm trying to read it now.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for not only listening, but sharing your thoughts with us this afternoon. All right.
Yeah, according to the records, it's 11th of May, 1957.
I want to repeat it back to you to make sure I heard you correctly. 11th of May, 1957?
Yep.
And you were almost there, But no, not quite.
All right.
But it was close, though. I think.
All right.
All right. Hey, thank you for trying it, man. I found this question interesting, A lot of people are, getting one part of the answer correct, but not another part. So we're looking for the month, the day, and the year. And I think I've heard almost all three bits and pieces, but not quite there yet. I know we're giving some hints, but we're going to hold off on those. If you remember, you remember. But in that answer, there were some bits and pieces that were correct. One or two bits and pieces that were not quite so. All right. We're looking for that month, day, and year. And we're celebrating the 60th anniversary. So let's try it again. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hi, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Excuse me. Hi, Dwayne. Peter Schmidt here.
I was wondering, is this Peter Schmidt or is this, Harrison Ford? Not quite sure which one. But thanks for clarifying, sir.
All right, good. Well, I am not able to speak to the question that
fine.
you have posed. But I wanted to just add my voice to the debate on the port issue, and I am pondering the following. Now, Cayman Island government has just made, or is in the process of making, a major investment into the airport facility to enlarge it and hopefully address the anticipated requirements for the next, 25 years, thereabouts, in terms of, capacity and throughput and all that kind of stuff. And at the same time, excuse me, we're discussing an increase in the, or a big expenditure in building a port that allows large ships to tie up to the dock. And the anticipated result of the large ships tying up to the dock is to increase the numbers of passengers that will come off the ship and to enjoy and partake in the offerings that Cayman has for the tourists. Now, it's commonly thought that increased number of cruise ship passengers and crowding and all that goes with it, and overloading of the attractions, etc., will have a negative impact on the overnight tourism. We have, I think the Minister of Tourism recently said there are 3 more major hotel projects in the works, and we already have, boosted the capacity over past years considerably. So, are we supporting or trying to support 2 projects that are in competition with each other? Are we accepting that increasing the capacity of cruise ship passengers visiting the island may have a detrimental effect on the overnight tourism, and we might see a decline in that? Or is that not something that people are worried about? I am concerned about it. We are complaining on one hand that the West Bay Peninsula has been overbuilt, that it's hard to see the ocean if you're driving on the road. So we have all this capacity for the stay-over tourists, and yet at the same time, we are trying to also put up the island with day visitors, which, quite frankly, in my opinion, cheapens the destination. Because because Cayman is so small, and if you can see the island in one day, and then on top of that you have certain unpleasant realities of jammed traffic and waiting times and long lines, etc., then you are detracting from the attractiveness of the destination. And I am concerned that these 2 major capital projects that we are engaged in are in competition with each other. And I wonder if my thoughts have any merit.
I think they always do, and I'm wondering that if people are willing to look and listen to maybe what's being shared in a constructive way and not be so quick to dismiss it because it's being said by, Jim, Gene, or John.
Yeah, I just think, continuously remembering the size of our marketplace. I definitely agree with many that have said that we ought to find a way where we can have more tourists experiencing the attractions that the eastern part of the island offers, but because of the way it is currently, the short time is too short for many to actually be able to go and see, say, the Botanic Park or any other attraction in that part of the island, and also maybe go to the turtle farm or turtle center, whatever it's called currently, on the same trip, and so the Eastern District appears to be losing out in attractiveness when people have to choose. So I understand that, and I can't speak to the engineering issues, the potential negative effects of disrupting the current flows as they exist currently and have existed for a long time. But I am certainly concerned with the two major capital projects competing with each other for utilization and the ability of the Cayman Islands to continue to be known and visited for the things, that they currently are.
Right.
And I feel also strongly that sometimes if you make something available too cheaply to too many people, it automatically devalues the item.
That's it. And perhaps as we look maybe long term and not so much for the short term gain. Hey, thanks very much for sharing. Anything else you want to pass along, sir?
No, that's all I have time for today. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Let's take the other caller. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Yes, Sterling, I try for that question again. Did I say May or June or April?
I don't know. You said May?
I think it's April, man. 11th of April, 1957.
11th of April, 1957. You know what? I think you're absolutely correct. 11th of April, 1957. That's
right.
what they told us, huh? That's it, huh?
Yeah, they had a creed, and they had to the 1st of May to submit it.
Ah. Now, do you, if you have a second, and congratulations, by the way. Thank you for taking time to check it out. Do you, what's your recollection about that whole process, either, personally or from what has been recorded to you by others?
Well, I'm born 58, Sterling. So
I know. That's why I was paying. I know you're not that old. That's why I said,
I'm born 58, but yeah, good questions, very good questions, and good to know the history.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. And the thing is, the reason why I ask is that there are some of us who, like you, were born after that, and there are some who had maybe older siblings or their parents, even grandparents were, around during that time, and the stories that we pass along to each other. And I've heard a couple of things, and I'm wondering how much of that is, historically accurate, how much has been changed because of people's recollection, and then what we have recorded, how much of it is as accurate as what people say. No, it wasn't exactly that. That kind of way. It's still an oral history, right?
Right.
So that's what I was asking.
We need to do more this kind of stuff because it really, get people interested in the history of the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, man.
I know the dates and stuff. So
I appreciate
it. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you too, man. And listen, but don't hang up. I mean, if you want your prize, let us just take your information. Would that be okay?
Okay.
All right, just hang on. The guy got if a man is asking you for your phone number, feel no way, okay?
All right, sir. Have a good day.
Take care, man. I know some people say, "Oh, he's trying to be funny," but that's not funny. Anyway, I laugh, he laugh. Hopefully, we laugh together and get people to be, a little bit less stressed. It's a Thursday, man. We're looking forward to Friday, Mondays, and the holiday. But thank God that we have, health and strength, and hopefully, some of us will recall, when we pray, we don't only pray that we got food to eat, but that we can eat the food that we have. It makes a difference, What is it? Water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Can you imagine, Bill? Anyway, we know where that takes us, right? 894-9837 or 1-800-534-8255. We can do a lot of things, we can talk about a lot. But let's also see if you'll be willing to play along. Glad that, see how persistence, perseverance, dedication pays off. Question was on the table for a couple of days as well, and finally we got a correct answer. So congrats, if you don't mind me saying, to the young chap who just answered. We got our 1 p.m. headline news coming up in short order. We'll take that, invite you to listen, get informed, see what our great news team is up to. Or when we come back, it'll be more open line. You can take your calls and we can answer some of these trivia questions. We can do all sorts of things, Hey, it's your time to shine. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Come on, let's go.
Mark your calendars. Breeze Fusion Walk Run is coming. Radio Cayman's Breeze Fusion Walk Run is coming. Saturday, November 3rd in Grand Cayman and November 24th in Cayman Brac. Visit CaymanActive.com to register today or stop by Radio Cayman on Elgin Avenue. This year's funds go to benefit the NCVO, the John Gray High School Music Department, and the So-and-So Club of Cayman Brac.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman,
the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. Headline. These are the biggest stories right now.
Cayman's prison systems are under review. Government wants to set up a new monitoring framework and process for prisons and other places of incarceration, including police detention centers and the Immigration Detention Center, so upcoming monitoring visits will be conducted by a board of community volunteers. The project took a major step forward last week, August 28th through the 31st, with a visit from a two-person team representing the UK's Independent Monitoring Board for Prisons. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, a number of top U.S. officials have denied that they are the author of a damning anonymous editorial that attacks U.S. President Donald Trump. The New York Times article, said to be written by a senior White House official, said Mr. Trump's appointees are trying to stifle his agenda. There is fierce speculation over who is responsible, with the vice president among those to deny any involvement. U.S. prosecutors have charged a North Korean man alleged to have been involved in creating the malicious software used to cripple the UK's National Health Service. The 2017 incident left NHS staff reverting to pen and paper after being locked out of computer systems. The hacking collective is also blamed for the hack on Sony Pictures in 2014. And in a historic decision, India's Supreme Court has ruled that gay sex is no longer a criminal offence. The ruling overturns a 2013 judgment that upheld a colonial-era law known as Section 377, under which gay sex is categorized as an unnatural offence. The court has now ruled that discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation is a fundamental violation of rights. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Did you know that recycling collection containers are located island-wide on Grand Cayman? The Department of Environmental Health's program is an integral part of DEH's waste management responsibility in the Cayman Islands. Start your recycling program at home today. Put your Type 1 and 2 plastics in appropriate DEH recycling containers at all Foster's supermarkets, Kirk Market, or Hurley's Grand Harbor. Please keep the Cayman Islands clean. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. For more information about recycling, go to www.deh.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. And welcome back to Talk Today. 949-8837 or 1-800-534-8255. It's open line. Let's go to our phones. Hey, welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling. How are you doing?
Excellent. How about yourself?
I'm fine, thanks. Is there a question that you were asking? Was it about the Court of Arms?
It was indeed, yes. Yes.
Okay, then, but did you get the right answer?
We did for that question, yeah. But did you have the answer?
I have a different date.
Okay, tell us the date.
The 14th of May, 1958.
Okay, and
if you Google that, you'll find that it's there.
Okay, all right. Now that date is a date in our history in relation to the coat of arms. What? Let me see how that. When you Google it, what does it say about that date? Why is that date significant?
What was it significant about?
About that date, yeah.
Well, it said Court of Arms came into effect on the 14th of May, 1958.
Okay, 14th of May, 1958.
Yes, sir.
All right. That is that's a question that we were going to ask. That would be the answer for it. The question that was asked and answered just a little while ago was what date did the government sort of issue a notice requesting people to come forward with their ideas about a coat of arms.
Oh, okay, okay.
And that was April 11th, 1957. But the one that you, and it's, I'm glad that you did that, because what's interesting is that some of the things that we may have online, even presumably official sources, we're not quite sure that they tie into exactly what we have sort of as part of our history. And even some of the things that are written about us and the way it's written.
Yeah, I know. Many things have been written. Well, I guess I should remember 1958.
You should have.
I tell you in person when I see you.
I hope you do. All right. All right. Take care of yourself.
Okay. I sure, bye.
Thank you too. Man, it's always fun. Well, we're going to ask another question, but certainly let's read this WhatsApp. If you want to share your thoughts with us via WhatsApp, of course, you can type it and send it through. You can record a voice note and do. This one says, what is government's plans for the projects that they started years ago? The school by Tromborden Stadium, for instance. Says, Mr. Premier, please finish the school. Another one came through saying, why are we putting the port and all these things before education? 8949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Let's ask another question. It says in 1958, we'll read the question as they give it to us. In 1958, when the coat of arms was created, what was the Assembly of the Cayman Islands called? Oh, interesting, right? In 1958, when the coat of arms was created, what was the Assembly of the Cayman Islands called? So now we call it the Legislative Assembly. Some in the media like to call it a parliament. Some have been quick to point out, well, a parliament is reserved for an independent country, so it's really just a legislative assembly. They're members of the legislative assembly. That's why we call them MLAs. It's the legislative assembly. That's what we call it now. But in 1958, what was the name? What was it called? How was it referred to? All right. So let's see if somebody can correctly answer that question. And, of course, it's open line, so you can talk about anything else you want to talk about. What's interesting, though, to the sort of couple of comments that were made earlier by the caller prior to the WhatsApp message we just read, is that there are a number of individuals out there who have been sharing that, let's put it this way, they'll have a conversation with perhaps some of their friends, whether they're politicians or otherwise. I'll tell you what they said. But let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, man. How are you today?
I'm all right.
Just all right?
I just want, far away from politics and anything. I want to wish our Premier, Sir Alden McLaughlin, a happy birthday. His birthday is today. So I wish him a good, healthy, long, prosper life, and I hope he enjoy the birthday today. And I think they are in the park. They enjoying the good weather there, far from the traffic in Cayman here. So that's what I want to say today. I hear you just a while ago, you're speaking about the board. But I want to say a quick thing here about the board. I am not into talking about that board because two sides are fighting. The side of the tender, the people who tender, they try and lobby some politicians and lobby some individual to stop this board. And the other side, the people who own some businesses in town, including the minister, Mr. Moses, and others who trying to lobby to build this port. So two rich people fighting, and the people is not in the consideration of the issue. So we're not into that. We're not into talking about the port because the rich people are fighting, and it's not belong to this fight not belong to any individual in this country, because the fight is over who the tenders and the shopkeepers. So I don't think it is belong to us, this fight. Have a good day, Dwayne.
All right. Good day to you too, sir. And thanks for sharing. 8949-8037 or toll free at 1-800-534-8255. If you want to share your thoughts with us on our WhatsApp, 925-3261. You can, record a voice note and send it through. You can, type like you would normally a WhatsApp message and, send that through. If you call us on our WhatsApp line, well, I think it'll ring, but I don't think we can answer it. At least not on air. So send us your thoughts either way, toll free or otherwise. Hey, we want to hear from you. So we were just sharing prior to the caller that a couple of our listeners have been saying that as they talk to some of their friends, whether they're political elected friends or whether they're their supporters or otherwise, and they're saying, hey guys, let's see what we can do for the country. Yeah, it's the 21st century. Yeah, we can have our differences, but what are we doing to honor the sacrifices and the like of our forefathers, and what are we doing to make it safer, better, more secure, prosperous, and the like for our children and for the future? And as they were sharing, they said, hey, increasingly more and more of us are there, and it's all right. Up by the door. And this just into our news desk. Miss Martha. As we out front there, as we share with our listeners, it's interesting as we look at some of the things that come to our desk from time to time. But as they were saying, more and more of the people who are trying to perhaps get some of their political sort of involved friends to be a part of this question. There are a few who say it, but it's like, as one said, you just sogging a wet rag. It's not, as he puts it, it's not that it makes any sense. They're not willing to listen to what you have to share. It's their path, it's their way, and if you disagree, well, obviously you're not part of their team. Now, he relayed a scenario where it was sharing when it comes to the port. There's no question we need to address the issue, but the fact that we're not looking at it from a long-term perspective, 50, 100 years, we're not looking at it from what is best for the country. Do we put it somewhere in the Eastern District? Do we look at maybe coming in somewhere within North Sound? Do we look at it at Red Bay? Yeah. Do we look at it somewhere off the Turtle Farm, Bosun Bay area? And he says, well, nope, it's not like that. So, what's your problem? 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. So, an answer to our question and was asked in 1958, when the coat of arms was created, what was the Assembly of the Cayman Islands called? And this one says the answer to your question, what was the LA called before? It was called the almost there, but not maybe half a point, maybe. I mean, maybe even get more points if you think about it. Almost there, but it has a formal title, so it's very close. I think we called it that. So very, very close. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Or you can always call us on 949-8037. Now, as you get ready to, look at a couple of other questions here, perhaps ensure that our prize packets as part of our partnership with the Celebrate Cayman team are available for you for collection when you come by. Quick pause, Mr. Fox. Take a short break. When we come back, more talk today.
Honey! Our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after.
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after.
Visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
Brit K, where people come first.
Come on, let's go.
Mark your calendars. Breeze Fusion Walk Run is coming. Radio Cayman's Breeze Fusion Walk Run is coming. Saturday, November 3rd in Grand Cayman and November 24th in Cayman Brac. Visit CaymanActive.com to register today or stop by Radio Cayman on Elgin Avenue. This year's funds go to benefit the NCVO, the John Gray High School Music Department, and the So-and-So Club of Cayman Brac.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. 949-8037 or toll free at 1-800-534-8255. It's open line. Certainly want you to play along with us as we ask some of these, questions. And there are a lot. There are a few that some obviously recognize, hey, I didn't quite know that answer, so it's going to take a while to get it. But as I was referencing earlier, the conversation with the individuals this morning who were talking about our political and economic development, there are a recent sort of partnership, as they put it, between some of the more astute and entrenched political players in formulating the government of the day. Now, the lady sort of who, in my mind, as I say to the gents there, it's good when I see women step up because I believe that is part of who we are as a people. We drive or walk through town. Hopefully, we'll stop, take a second, and look across that small park from the library and recognize that statue in the corner, right, almost opposite the town clock, isn't just one that we should pass by. I think it's a celebration of our women, a reminder that when our men, without question, made significant sacrifice to go to sea, that the country survived and prospered and moved forward because of the women who were here, and even to this day, whether they're in education, whether they're in, involved with the church, or whether they are hopefully increasingly becoming more encouraged to step up to the political plate and be a part of what we have here, to join the ranks of those who were serving in the past and who are serving now. We see increasingly more of our women not just being respected and revered, but equally encouraged and supported and nurtured and protected, and ensuring that there's a great sense of fairness and equity within our system. But as this lady was sharing, so much of what happens in our politics seems to be so petty. She said, for instance, the Honourable Premier makes what she thought was a nice gesture, not just a token gesture, not to discount the potential loss in revenue to the country as a result of the gesture, but to increase that duty allowance that Caymanians and residents will be able to get under their sort of personal duty-free concessions when they're coming into the country. I should add, I think that still will be at the discretion of the collector. From 350 to 500, perhaps it's a good thing for many of us. It's not only in light of inflation over the years, but to recognize that some of us do our very best to be as honest when we're coming through to declare some of the things, so that we don't feel that we're overpaying, but we also are not feeling as if we are cheating the treasury. But she shared, wasn't this something that was put forward by the opposition leader not that long ago that wasn't accepted by the government? Now, is it because it wasn't good timing, as some have alleged, or was it simply because it was put forward by people and they then couldn't get the credit for it, or didn't want the credit to go? And she shared that's part of the reasons why she believes the country can't move forward as fast and as prosperous as it could, because there's too much division and too many opportunities for people to be undermining and underhanded. Now, she shared, not just in the political arena, but we see it playing out because that is the expectation. But what about in our wider society? Her point that she wanted to stress was that we need to get to a place where amongst our people we only expect the very best, and that when people come to the table, that they come with a sense of integrity and honesty, and we are willing to accept that in politics there are certain behaviors to be expected, and even in many cases, as much as we would like, we're willing to accept those. Now, why is it that we shouldn't, be willing to condone certain things? We seemingly won't in certain quarters, but we will in others. Now, that obviously must send mixed messages to our children, and to outsiders looking in to say, well, in this instance, this is okay, but not in this instance. Why? Hey, your thoughts. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
I'm taking a last shot.
Go right ahead.
Wester Courthouse?
No.
Huh?
Try it again.
Is it Wester courtroom or courthouse?
No, the name you mean for our assembly,
yes,
as it was called when the coat of arms was created? No, not.
Huh?
I can see where you're going with it, but not quite.
Wester is not Wester courthouse?
No, ma'am.
Okay, bye.
All right, thank you very much. And it's interesting. We've got a couple of attempts online on our WhatsApp. Somebody said, it's called the Vestryman, the Vestry. It's getting there, I guess. We colloquially refer it to, some way, but hey, it has had a proper name. Now we call it the Legislative Assembly. That's what it's called today. But back in 1958, when the coat of arms was created, it had a particular name. It was called a particular thing. It was referred to as, the vestry. Yes, the vestry. But what was it called? Maybe we need to ask our parents and our grandparents. Maybe we have an older sibling. Hey, we might even have been there then. What was it called? In 1958, when the coat of arms was created, what was the Assembly of the Cayman Islands called? All right. That's a question. If you get it right, hey, we'll be happy to share with you as you share with us, so that we all know. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Now, in relation to the duty allowance being increased as of, I think it's Honourable Premier says November the 1st, I believe. not tomorrow, not October, but as of the 1st of November, all Caymanians residents who are returning home can bring in goods into the country and have a personal duty-free allowance of $500. Presumably that's CI dollars as well. What do you think about that? Do you think that's too much, not enough? What's your view on it? Now, it's, as some have shared, it's just recognition that it's long overdue. It may have been something that should have been done way back when to allow, for the inflation that we've seen. But you share your thoughts. 949-837 or 1-800-534-8255. Call and share your thoughts with us. Give us your perspective in relation to it. Now, go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
Good. You?
Oh, blessed one. Very thankful.
Great. We're in the Cayman,
We're in Cayman for sure, yeah.
Sterling, that allowance for traveling is past overdue.
Some have shared that to me, yes.
Huh?
Some have shared that they thought it should have been long ago.
It should have been long ago. Furthermore, no Caymanian should be on no allowance when traveling, knowing that they made the Cayman dollar $1.25 to the US 80 cents, knowing that we have to go overseas to do our shopping for this island, knowing that everything comes from all over the world. You understand? So we should have having no allowance on our back, period. All those who got businesses and so forth, they're the one they got to hit, not us that going to take our stuff home to use at our homes. And that $500, that ain't no money. Should have been $1,000 or none at all to the Caymanians. That's my feeling about it. Sorry.
So you think now that as Cayman is returning home for personal items, it should be whatever they bring back should be duty free?
That's right. Should bring it back home duty free. But if they have a business, then they have to pay duties and so forth, whatever. Certainly we have to live here and we have to shop overseas. Everybody has to shop overseas. Don't get me wrong. But the fact for me is they put the dollar to 125 to 80 cents US dollars because of the overseas shopping. Sterling, I have to go. I gotta call you back. Okay?
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
All right. Appreciate that caller when she decides and is able to rejoin us. Okay, great. But likewise, extend the same to you. 949-837 or 1-800-534-8255. Oh, to that caller's point, what do you think about that? You're away and you purchase things for your personal consumption, whatever they are, and they're not part of any business. Should they be duty free? You went away, you made a purchase, you bring it back through. Should it be duty free? Should there be an allowance now? Maybe some of us would recognize because we travel to other, and I just use Caribbean countries as an example, including Bermuda. You'll see the citizens of the countries there doing what we do here as well. While they're on the plane or in airports, they're filling out their forms, tallying up their receipts. There's a certain threshold, and if they're within that, then maybe it's duty free. Maybe if they're within a certain band, then it's a reduced amount and so on. Now, that's part of how the government collects its revenue in order to run the affairs of the country. Now, when this allowance was announced, one individual said, do we recognize that some of the things that we bring back, on one instance, somewhat mistakenly, already included taxes, and so we include that amount. Perhaps we shouldn't. Secondly, some of those items that we purchase are already, duty free, as it were, so they're not part of that calculation, but we include it as well. And what she was sharing is that maybe it'll be good now for the government. Hopefully, it doesn't be a costly exercise nor one that is cumbersome. But say to the public, when you're returning, you have to pay your duty up on, the first $500 is duty free. But these are the things that are not, sort of subject to duty because they're already duty free. And this is how the the calculation is done. For instance, she said that one time long ago, she, was coming back and she was converting the amount. Her mistake. So this was long ago. It was her mistake. She had converted it at one rate. Only to realize that at that time on the form, she believes it said nope. All conversions have to be at this rate. She did it at 0.80, and the official rate was at 0.84. And she thought, well, interesting. So, would they give me, for every US dollar, 84 cents as well? Well, similar to what the banks did. And so little things that could potentially create, challenges for some who are not as aware. Let's pause though, take a short break, but when we come back, more Talk Today.
Chevrolet $10,000 birthday giveaway is still on. Buy any new Chevrolet from Advance Automotive and enter to win $10,000 cash. Entries close 1st of December or after 100 cars sold, whichever comes first. Pick up a brand new Chevrolet Trax compact SUV, the most equipped SUV in its class. Now reduced to just $19,995. Get the best deal in Cayman and enter to win $10,000 cash. Visit the showroom on Owen Roberts Drive or visit AdvanceChevrolet.com for more details today.
Sports fans, tune in to Radio Cayman Sports Extra Show.
Hi, I'm Bruce Lee Colson.
Sports Extra.
This and every Tuesday night, right here on Radio Cayman, 89.9 and 93.9, Cayman Brack and Little Cayman.
Sports Extra, from 7 to 8 p.m., right here on Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. Sports Extra.
Proudly brought to you by King Sports Center, providing your fitness, recreation, and relaxation needs.
Okay, thank you. Can you please read the bottom line? E, P, look like C, F, and I believe the last one is D. The Lions Club of Tropical Garden Product presents Free Vision Screening on Saturday, September 8, 2018 at the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens Pink Shop in Elizabethan Square. The Lions Club of Tropical Gardens will be providing free vision screening, a presentation on glaucoma by Optical Outlook. Screening starts from 10:30 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. Free vision screened by Dr. Krishnamani, partly sponsored by the Jamaica National Building Society. Remember, your vision is nothing to play with. Get tested on Saturday, September 8th at the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens Pink Shop in Elizabethan Square.
It's Pure Soul Talk, 7 a.m. on Sunday mornings with Spirit Biz 345. This is a radio segment that's fresh and new, it's non-denominational and fun, it's spiritual and motivational. Plus, you don't need to dress up or even to help pay into my building fund. Spirit Biz 345, about my Father's business. Listen in 7 a.m. Sundays, here and worldwide via streaming and on Facebook. God bless.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. And thank you so much for listening and participating. And certainly, it's interesting to see how we have a keen sense of our history. So we asked the question in partnership with the Celebrate Cayman team as part of the 60th anniversary of our coat of arms. The question is, in 1958, when the coat of arms was created, what was the Assembly of the Cayman Islands called? So a couple of responses here online. Someone says, in answer to your question, is it the House of Assembly? Well, Radio Cayman used to have a radio show on one time called the House of Gold. I guess that's a good choice. But no, not the House of Assembly. A couple of people put the vestry with the W, That was kind of nice. I like that. Someone else typed in and says, the vestry. And again, I'm told that that's what we call it, and that's very close. But apparently it's a much more formal, official, sort of proper name. And in those responses, I think it captures what we were looking for, but not, I'm told, as our judges went to committee and deliberated, it's not the complete, exactly formal, correct answer. So, again, how it would spark us and show how we have, need to remind ourselves of who we are in our history and the beautiful things that we have here. So 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. And question, if you want to answer it, hey, in 1958, when the coat of arms was created, what was the Assembly of the Cayman Islands called? And we know we call it the Legislative Assembly today. What was it called in 1958? 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Let's call and give Mr. Fox a little hello. And then, of course, we can chat with you. Now, what about the other things in relation to what we were sharing when it comes to this notion that more and more of the people in the country are starting to wonder, where are we going in our future? And as the caller prior was saying, when you're coming back from away, should you really have to even declare anything in relation to paying import duties if you're bringing it back for yourself? Now, correspondingly, when we presume that if you operate in a business and you're bringing it back, should the penalties be even higher if you are found to deliberately trying to evade or avoid paying duties or somehow reduce the amount you're required to pay? Now, thankfully, I believe there are many of us who are, as honest as we can be. We're trying to ensure that we are fair and hopefully we're treated fairly as well. But presumably it would be naive to think that there are not some of us who will see if we can always slip a 6 in for a 9 or get a 9 when we only pops and tells us 3, not even a 6. What is your view though? 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. As you I want to ponder the questions on the table, but hey, maybe speak to some of the things in our history and some of the things that are unfolding now. 949-8037. Let's go to our phones and see if these callers. Good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Today I didn't get up. It's almost missed the show.
That's not a bad thing, I don't think.
No, when you're tired now this time, it didn't mean, so people midday time they close up shop and everything.
There was a time when that happened, yes. Yeah.
12 and 3 o'clock. But I'm surprised nobody don't know the answer to those questions.
Well, you tell us the answer, sir. We got 2 other people waiting to see if you get it right, and we got the questions asked.
Yeah?
All right.
No, but once I get it short, people live in a hell this morning. And anybody called back the day,
no, they didn't, but if that's what we want to engage in, would you be so kind as to just hang on? Let me take these other 2 callers.
Maybe take them calls, I call back.
Okay. All right. Since you want to get in hell, that's good place to do so. All right, let's check these other callers, but don't go away. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. You want to Talk Today?
Hello?
Hi, good afternoon.
Am I on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I think it was Justices and Vestrymen.
Yeah, that's somewhere in the title there, yeah. I think that's what it is. Now, there's some other bits and pieces that go in somewhere in there.
The Assembly of Justices of the Peace and Vestrymen?
I'm almost inclined to want to give you the answer because I think you're very close. Because you say Assembly of Justices and Vestrymen. Yeah. It's I'm told that the official title, as it was referred to, should be. Don't go away, Mr. Fox. You can switch over to the next caller. Sir, don't. Let's see if we can make our technology work for us. You hang on, okay? And if not, we'll come right back to you. Mr. Fox, press 1 and switch to 2 and do 27. You know what to do. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Wait, now tell me as I go.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Fine, and you?
Oh man, blessed.
It is legislative assembly of justices and vestry.
Mom, you have it exactly. And boy, can you bring that other caller in, Mr. Fox? Let's see if we can do this because you have it exactly as they've said it to us now.
Yeah.
Legislative Assembly of Justices and Vestry. All right. Okay, the other caller, I can't get it. To the gentleman just called, he had Assembly of Justices of the Peace and Vestry. He had it put it close, right?
Yeah.
You have it spot on.
Close, not close enough. You got to be right on top.
Boy,
Tell me.
Wait, say, yeah. Let me know. I almost feel like.
It will count. Closeness do count.
Closeness do count,
You're
huh?
close, but you're still far.
Well, see,
you
yeah.
don't get it on the head. You hit it on the nail head. I hit it on the head.
You got it exactly as it is. And the only reason not to, hopefully, and no, anybody listening, nobody at all would be offended. It just shows you sometimes. You remember your teacher would say to you in school, make sure you read the question in its entirety, right? And some try to encourage you, we may give you a half a point or say, well, but there's some things that are exact, and it has to be exact. Not just when you're baking that you get a formula correctly, you're doing chemistry, but so you have it exactly. Legislative Assembly of Justices and Vestry. Yeah. All right. Well, congrats. Don't go anywhere. Would you, we'd like to offer you the prize on behalf of, the Celebrate Cayman team. So let the gentleman here take your contact details. Would that be okay?
Okay.
All right. Just stay on the line. He'll get it from you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mom.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. Congratulations. And to all other callers who have it, and to the gentleman, just prayer. And I hope that you follow your mind sometimes, and you always desire to be fair. I thought he was very close, as you can determine. But that lady was, as she said, spot on. So, good stuff. That shows you what we can do, man. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. We'll play along some more if you want to. I'm not going to spend the whole day with it, but I love quiz nights. I love, I love our country. I love the history. I love to find out that there's so much about it that we don't know, and there's so much about it that we've been told, and we realize, that's not exactly how it went. And what is very, very, intriguing, sometimes kind of, disarming at times and alarming, is the fact that we may read something. It may be an official publication from another government. It may be even something that our government has repeated, or some of our own people. And to have people say, well, it's not really how it goes, But for some reason, we lack the conviction, the courage, the tenacity, or what have you, to ensure that it's corrected. And what is that African proverb the rear banker reminds us about? Not until the lion gets a biographer, hunter will always be a hero. We got to be careful that we don't deliberately or unconsciously allow things to be cemented in history that are not necessarily an accurate reflection of who we are. Let's go to our phones, though. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Yes, sir. I'm calling you back.
There you go. Thank you.
Yes, Sterling. I really sort of feel like we as Caymanians, well, we all mixed up now, so anybody can get Caymanians seem like the Caymans, so more power to them. But really, truly, seriously, this thing been going on for so long now, and been asking for it for so long. And it went to the house when Mr. Archie was in there, and it didn't work out. Now, all of a sudden, now, we're entitled to it. I think that's a slap in Mr. Archie's face to a certain extent, but we'll leave that alone, okay?
Okay.
And Sterling, I just want to hear a little bit on the port that we all talking about.
Okay.
Sterling, we do need a port, but I would like to ask if this ever happens, how many docks are we getting, and how many cruise ships will be coming in at a time that they can use these docks? Because if we're going to have two pairs that can hold four boats, and we got 6 up there, what happened to those other 2 that can't dock up to the dock? That's one question. And Sterling, I heard people saying that they say that the ships can stay longer when we get these new dock. That's not really true, Sterling, because these ships have to be at another location at a certain time, and that's why some of them come here and leave the time they leave, because then they have to get to that next port in due time. You understand? So I don't think very much that any of these ships are going to be staying in the Caymans any longer than normal that they're doing right now. So we need to stop trying to brainwash people and thinking that our is all is in the case, because it isn't. If these ships come in and can only spend so many hours, that is it. And there's no way in the world they're going to stay here. If they could even stay here till 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, they can't open their casino, they can't open their bars and so forth. So what's the purpose of them staying here? So
All right, well.
Yeah, Sterling, and I know we need a dock. Don't get me wrong. But not downtown Georgetown.
Where?
And how many boats going to be coming in if and when we get repairs? Are we going to be cut back from ships because of the price and all the whole 2 to 4 ships a day? Give me a break. That's going backwards.
All right, well, thanks for sharing that. All right. Anything else you want to leave with us?
Well,
all right.
I think that our government needs to wake up. Now we're going to buy the Nova Scotia building. All good and well. And what are we creating? Room for more crime. More crime to the island, Sterling. More crime. That's all a new courthouse can do for the Caymans. Are they going to work on Saturdays and Sundays and holidays to get some of these backlog cases under control? We don't know that, right? We got to pay by air to see what's going to happen. I'm not condoning the government to buy the building. Now, don't get me wrong. But a courthouse is going to just harbor more crime in this island. We need to build some facilities where we can put our people into schools. We need a police academy here. We need nutrition schools. We need so much different types of school in this island, and there needs to be on a what is they use a grant form. Give them X amount of dollars, and when they finish, they go and work. Then they pay back the grant people or the government, whoever, X amount of dollars per month. And that will help sustain our people from going down the wrong road. Our children is losing vision every day and hope. And we cannot let this continue to happen. We can't just see buttercupping one side of the island and letting the other side go down. Our children need to be recognized and looked upon more than they're being right now.
Yes, ma'am.
We got police officers that in our force, and some people is happy that our police department is going the way it's going because it's not very much Caymanians in it. I just asked my Caymanian people today, let's prove some people wrong. Get up there and say, you know what? I'm going to go in that force. I'm going to go in this job. I'm going to go in that job. Really, you know, we got people here working from 200 to 250 every 2 weeks cutting coconuts, and they come from a far away country to come to the Cayman to cut coconut.
A lot of things, huh?
And they're getting their bills paid.
Yeah.
Something is wrong.
Yeah. Well,
Why can't our people do it?
questions to be answered. All right. Thank you very much, huh?
Thank you, and have a great
You too, Mom. Let's go to other phones. Thank you for waiting. Thanks for joining us. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Mr. Dwayne.
Yes, sir. How are you today, my friend?
All right. Totally agree with the last caller.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, I ask something. The first capital or thing that came on, that wasn't born down.
That's what we're told, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we non-Caymanians submitted the code of arms.
Sorry, say that again. I apologize, my headset. Say that again, please. The last part.
A non-Caymanian submitted the code of arms.
That would. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, if we couldn't even produce the code of arms, right? What good are they going to be to try to produce that, this port? That this code of arms on this flag going to be flying over? To me, that's a big signal to the people who really know our history. That, yeah, we actually for you, really. Because the dock going to have a big impact on our environment, no matter what they want to say. I don't believe we need a dock for that. We don't need a dock to do that. And another thing, how this politician can come out and actually tell people mustn't sign anything about the dock. This is something that I only hear in certain dictatorship rule countries. You understand? So I really like to know how these kind of things can just fly past us. If you're gonna worry still about a dog, something that really going to kill our bread and butter, you know. That beautiful sea life and all that out there, that's our bread and butter, you know. And about tourist boats or whatever, cruise ships or whatever. But think about it. What they coming here for? They coming here to see that crystal blue water, that lovely water, all that clear sky and all that. They dump, they dump almost everything. They go in their toilets on a boat and out to sea, right in front of us. Every time they dock up here, that's what it does. And they talk about they want another source of income. And if I can jog your memory just for a little bit, I told you that when Jamaica legalized herb, that the crime is going to go up here, right? Or decriminalize it or whatever term they want to use, right? That the crime is going to go up here. And almost directly you can see that happening. I told you why too, because of how the market works. The real bad ones that dealing with the herb, they can't make it over there. So they coming over here. And I told you one time is that it works a certain way. Like if you and me, right? You and me is competition in the drug market. You know who come in like help me get rid of you? Take a guess. Take a guess who will help me get rid of you? A 911 call.
Yeah.
Sure? So this is how they playing it. And if you want to have different sources of income, instead of the cruise ship, have the gambling and have that other thing there, the herb, because you will have more like independent Caymanians, making their own stuff, and they can bring up all that reefer madness talking. They can bring up all that from way back when, all that stuff that wasn't true, right? But it still, to me, is denying the fact. The fact is that they is wrong. I can admit when I wrong, anytime I can admit when I wrong. Everybody here, they know that, but these people, it's too expensive for them to admit that they're wrong. You can never have a poor man telling you what you did wrong. Think about it.
But why is it some of the things as I listen to that, we seemingly either know, suspect, or allege, but there isn't any meaningful attempt at trying to address the issue so that we can resolve it, for everybody else.
Yeah, because if you think what we're living in something very, what we call it, from that movie, The Firm, man. That part in the movie, where they got them in the mask, and everybody got on the mask, and nobody knows who's who, but they're doing all kind of things with each other. These are the kind of way I see it playing here. You can't have nobody here that don't have some greed in them. And that's a thing that, I found no other solution than you got to stop them from having certain powers over us. That's the only solution I saw. And they will continue to do what they feel is best for them, and what they know is right for all of us. That's a mind change that I can't ever see to get fulfilled. They can be that way. They can be that way today, and then tomorrow something will jump in front of them, and they'll totally forget what they just told me. And I seen that, man. And that is all from experience. All. It's to me how I can change the mind of the people. That's hard to do. That's hard to do when you got so much. When somebody got such a voice on everybody. You gotta make sure you pay those bills. You gotta make sure you do what I say. You gotta make sure you vote. Make sure you vote for something that you know not gonna help you. You gotta make sure you spend money in ways that not for the whole or you know, not for all of us or to benefit certain people. You gotta make sure, you know, you gotta make sure that this dirtiness goes on. And I wonder how can you change that mind? Last time I saw it, to change your mind, that was like a hard slap. You know, when you gotta wake somebody up, like say they dropped, huh? That's the only thing.
Sometimes, you know, maybe that's what it takes, you know, for us to hit the reality. I appreciate you sharing, man. Anything else you want to share before we go to the next caller and hit the break?
No, man. Good talking, man. Thank
Blessings,
you very much.
Man. Blessings.
Thank you.
All right, let's take the call. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for calling us.
Good afternoon again, Mr. Allen.
Yes, sir. Welcome back again.
Yes, what's awesome? I mentioned something about this new doctor planning on building.
Yes, sir.
Now, I had a lot of people come in saying things against this dock. But why do some of these politicians on the side come and say why they want to build a dock? Right? Now, I had one say that you can save time, but by the time you bring a ship up next to the dock, and they all go through customs and all them kind of, I don't think you save much time there. And when you got 10, 15,000 people coming ashore one time, the taxis and buses can't handle them that quick. Right now you have a bit of a little break coming in tenders. But when you got all them coming ashore one time, and they one book for this store, one book for the next store, I mean, I've seen confusion down there. I see 5, 6 ships come in. I don't left them at home. Other than I used to drive taxi. And another thing, you would need some tugs for those ships, right? Is it there?
Yes, sir. You need some tugs, you said.
What I've been trying to find out is how many tugs you would need to maneuver these ships, and what would be the cost, and who's going to pay for them. So we're not talking about $5,000 a day, you know. You only get 2 or 3 tugs for those big old ships. Maneuver them in there, and another thing, the time of maneuvering them is almost as long as it takes to bring them ashore by tenders. And then when you got all those people coming ashore, I mean, I don't see any how they can do that without blocking off the whole of 4th Street. And I've also worked in those jewelry stores, and there's a lot of come ashore those big bags and just drop and stuff in. Now, maybe those shopkeepers might want to admit it now, but there's a lot of shoplifting going on. So when you got 10, 15 people, and sure you got 30 or 40 people in there, you will lose more the shoplifters than what profit you making. And all those restaurants, if the people stand up in line so long just to get a hamburger or food, they just walk aboard the ship. And what about the traffic? You mind those these days now when you got ships leaving in the afternoon. A 10, 15-minute drive, it takes you 30, 40 minutes
So
to get back in the town. I mean, I used to drive bus in there.
Now, from your perspective then, if I may ask, is it then that you don't see the need for the port and the piers and the lake, or is it in the location?
I don't see the need for the piers. The Georgetown is too small to hold all of those people at one time.
Okay.
And I do not see why we need so much more to the ship people when they're already trying to cut down the trips to Stingray City and the different beaches because right now be too much people. So if you got too much people now, what do you want more people for?
Good question, maybe to leave us respectfully. Anything final before we go to our news?
Oh, no, just one thing. All those stowaway guests, right?
Mm-hmm.
One stowaway guest spent 12 times as much as one of the cruise ship people. But many days they can't come shopping in town because there's too many cruise ship people in town and they don't come shopping. So the grandfather lose more revenue by that than they make to the cruise ship people.
Well, that's hopefully something that they can address.
Then later say, that's enough for now. You get some more next.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. With that, we'll go to our news break. We invite our callers to join us after as you listen to our news. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
Convicted murderer Devon Anglin loses an appeal to reopen his first appeal against conviction. Anglin appeared before the appeals court on the grounds that the shooting of Carlo Webster in 2011 was resulted from provocation, and at the time of the incident his mental state resulted in diminished responsibility. The appeals judges rejected his application, stating they were wholly without merit. He is currently serving a life sentence. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. A powerful earthquake paralyzed Japan's northern island of Hokkaido on Thursday, killing at least 7 people, triggering landslides and knocking out power to its 5.3 million residents. The death toll from the 6.7 magnitude pre-dawn quake was likely to rise as rescuers search houses buried by landslides. About 33 people were missing and 300 were injured. Italian prosecutors are investigating 20 people on suspicion of involuntary manslaughter in connection with the motorway bridge collapse in Genoa last month. They include managers at Autostrade, the company which managed the bridge. 43 people were killed in the disaster when a 656-feet section of the Morandi Bridge suddenly plunged 45 meters along with dozens of vehicles. And the Cranberries frontwoman Dolores O'Riordan died from drowning due to alcohol intoxication. That's what an inquest at Westminster Coroner's Court has heard. The singer, who died suddenly on January 15th, aged 46, was found submerged in the bath in her room at London's Park Lane Hilton Hotel. O'Riordan died as a result of a tragic accident, the coroner said. She had no injuries or evidence of self-harm and had drank an excessive amount of alcohol, expert witnesses said. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Sparky, someone is unknowingly wasting energy. We need you to help them save.
I'm on it. I can replace light bulbs with energy-efficient ones. Install Energy Star appliances, seal off their windows and doors, and clean the AC filters. See? All done.
Good job, Sparky. Your next mission is to get rid of that ching-ching nest outside.
Oh boy.
You've got the power. You've got the power to conserve the energy you use and save.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
Radio Cayman Super Jam Show.
Tune in every Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for
Radio Cayman Super Jam Show,
the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
Another proud sponsor of the Super Jam Showdown.
Love you like a fresh vegetable.
The Georgetown Farmers Market, offering the freshest in local produce, preserves, and crafts.
Be proud to be Caymanian. Shop local at the Georgetown Farmers Market today.
Attention Breeze Fusion fans and supporters, registration is now open for the 12th annual Grand Cayman Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run. We're calling on you to help us in raising funds for the NCVO and for the John Gray High School Musical Department. Registration is only $15 for adults if registered by September 30th. The walk run will take place on Saturday, November 3rd at the Smiths Bacadere in Grand Cayman. But you must be registered by September 30th to take advantage of the lower fee. Visit CaymanActive.com to register today or stop by Radio Cayman on Elgin Avenue.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. And thank you for joining us. It is open line as we go straight to our phones. Welcome, you're on Talk Today.
Hello, Dwayne, Ms. Susan, and to all our listeners. How are you doing there?
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Yes, it's okay. Just reporting activities at sea again off Cayman Brac, celebrating the government's tenure here in Cayman Brac with the government. The officials here, I directed in a tug and barge to celebrate their occasion here in Cayman Brac, and also as a remembrance ceremony for a seaman from Grand Cayman, again, the same Mr. Clifton Bodin, to be remembered, and the Cayman Brac seaman, the late Mr. Audie Bodin. He was born, raised up in Cayman Brac, and he actually passed away in Costa Rica a few weeks ago, and we're having him remembered. He was raised up in Spot Bay, Cayman Brac, and an American tug and barge, Crimson Victory, is the tugboat towing the Crimson Tide, which is a warehouse barge loaded with hurricane relief supplies for the Puerto Rican residents. It's coming from Mobile, Alabama, and was going up north of Cuba, but due to Florence, the storm that was coming down, the captain altered course and is passing north of Cayman Brac right now. He said he was going to come 8 miles if he could come closer, so residents up around the Creek and Spot area, and anyone up on the bluff or anyone wants to go to the lighthouse to have a look at this barge. It's totally enclosed with two side ramps, roll-on, roll-off ramps on port and starboard side and the front side of the warehouse barge. It's specially designed for carrying hurricane relief funds to islands in the Caribbean or anywhere Central America, and a lot of this stuff are being given to the people in Puerto Rico, humanitarian aid. So we thank the Americans for distributing, and this is something that happens quite often, carrying shiploads of wheat from United States to Africa to give them up their humanitarian aid into big ore carriers loaded with wheat, corn, and rice, and all kinds of containerized cargo. So I must point out that America is a great nation in giving out so much free food to help the needy people in Africa and Caribbean, Central America, all over the place. And this tug and barge also did a salute, a maritime salute, by passing by close by several years ago for my uncle, Darley Bodden, who worked as a chief mate and second mate on ships owned by Alcoa, same ship where several Caymanians work. So that's the activity happening here today. And want to talk about the shipments of gasoline and diesel.
Yes, sir.
people were saying that the ships have to go out of route sometime to come to Grand Cayman or come to Cayman Brac. Totally not correct. Mostly it's a different ship almost every time that brings our gasoline and diesel. Some will be a repeat ship, a repeat voyage to Grand Cayman or Cayman Brac. But this one here today, loaded in Houston. Houston is the cheapest place in America besides Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where the Cayman Islands imports their gasoline from. And it went from Houston to Clifton Point, Nassau, Bahamas, discharged part cargo there, came to Grand Cayman with another part cargo, and is here at Cayman Brac to discharge 8,000 barrels of diesel and 6,500 barrels of gasoline. And it will sail from here and go back to Freeport, Bahamas to finish discharging cargo of diesel and gasoline. And it was already out there in Nassau, but they didn't discharge. They came and made that loop around the Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and back to the Bahamas to finish discharging. Several of the tankers will load, come direct to Grand Cayman from Houston or Baton Rouge, and then go on to Central America. And several of them will load in Houston, Baton Rouge, Bahamas, Dominican Republic, and then back to Grand Cayman. So a lot of times we are right in the route of the ships transiting, carrying cargoes around where to incur additional expenses that people would have think that would cause the prices of gasoline to be so high in the Cayman Islands compared with $2.50 in Houston. I spoke with some tourists at the lighthouse a week ago, and they said, Mr. Scott, that's what we're paying in Houston, $2.50 per gallon for gasoline. And I know in Baton Rouge, from my other records of international shipping and details, it's was around $2.45 in Baton Rouge, where the products are loaded to eventually come to the Cayman Islands. So I keep track, has been keeping track for decades, not just years, decades. I've been in this thing now for 40 years, and I know what's going on internationally with who buys what and who ships where and where ships come from and where they go and what products are being distributed and carried from each country to each country.
No, with that, I mean, we see that with the question, a lot of international shipping takes place right off our coast. How much of that do you think is potentially a negative impact on our environment with respect to discharge and the like? Any thoughts on that? We see the positives, but any potential negatives?
Well, the number of passengers through here, it's become the second busiest shipping lane in the Western Hemisphere, and mainly between 12 Mile Bank and 60 Mile Bank off Grand Cayman. And passages between Grand Cayman and Little Cayman, I have seen up to 18 ships pass through there in a 24-hour period. Cayman Brac is one passes to the north of Cayman Brac. We had two midnight last night. One of them also, forgot to mention that, had a searchlight ceremony for Mr. Bawden from Grand Cayman. The same as the Clifton Bawden. Searchlights were turned on to the north of Little Cayman and kept on while passing en route from Houston to Brazil. And talking about I have never actually gathered any information on any illegal dumpings in the area, except one time I was contacted about a ship, a white substance, and I determined that was caustic soda. The washing of tanks and caustic soda was discharged and making a white liquid far away, like 30 miles north of Grand Cayman. And another ship was washing off a deck while passing Little Cayman, and I give orders to discontinue deballasting, pumping water out, and they adhered to my request right away, said, yes, sir, we will. We have stopped pumping now. They were just washing off the decks, but we are within the second busiest and sometimes the busiest shipping lane in the Western Hemisphere. For example, about 80% of United States commodities for making all the products past the Cayman Island territory, not territorial waters, that's 12 miles, but within these, within 100 and 200 miles away from the Cayman Islands. We are one of the main shipping lanes for America to get its products in and out. And the big trade with Chinese buying American crude oil, sometimes it's 15 million barrels of crude oil been passed in the Cayman Islands in 1 week, coming from Texas and Louisiana going to China. That's a big increase in traffic now with mostly the third, fourth, and fifth, and second largest tankers in the world carrying these cargoes. Right now, coming down through the Caribbean, there are 5 tankers of the world's third, fourth, and second largest tankers loaded with Iraq crude oil, with Saudi Arabian crude oil going to the States, and they will be passing here in about 2 days' time, normally south of Grand Cayman. So it's a very busy shipping lane. It's absolutely alarming to see what products, every product in the world you can think of, comes through the Cayman Island waters, going to and from the United States. This morning off a spot there was a shipment of manganese ore from South Africa. And speaking about the commodities, is manganese ore and ferrochromate, that's for making chrome, vanadium tools. Also, the product for making talcum powder that people use on their body even passes here on a giant ship coming from Pakistan. And also barium sulfate, barite for additive in cement, is being imported from India and China to the United States, and all that is coming through. And tomorrow we have a ship passing through the Caribbean from Shanghai to New York, 14,000 containers. That's happening now like twice a week, a ship that size with 14,000 containers is passing east to Jamaica, going to New York from Shanghai, China. They're trying to get in all the products that they can before this increased tariff regulations to have a sort of a ban on certain products being imported into the United States.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Raymond. You seem to, dedicate some incredible time, and certainly appreciate you being able to share that, as people start to appreciate it. Yes, and I'm not
talking from something written down now in a book before me. I'm talking this right from my knowledge, from my intelligence and memory. I'm talking from what I'm telling you here.
Yeah,
Anyway, I own a heavy equipment business, and that's what I rely on for my livelihood, dealing with this kind of stuff. I'm not getting a cent for it, but I just doing this honoring our seamen. And I would like here this afternoon to mention all those people who have contacted Raymond, and Raymond been life-saving and assistant with friends and family members all over the Cayman Islands for 40 years. How many of you, I would like, if you all could have a vote this afternoon here on the talk show, and say how many of you have known me and contacted me about your relatives being overdue or at sea, and what kind of job I done on acting on that, and when they're thinking about employing 27 people in the Marine Department for the Cayman Islands and this Coast Guard thing, and I've been trying to get a payment or an appointment into a position for so many years, and how it would anger me if they bring someone from abroad that doesn't have the knowledge that I have and give them a big salary up to $5,000 for doing this kind of stuff, and they only come here on a paper that don't know about the Cayman Islands territory and what's happening around here. But that's some of our people that just don't consider our own people. They just looking out for other things. And I'm very disturbed about how things have been going with that. I play an important role and be up all hours the night when they're sleeping, assisting and saving lives out at sea. And I have never got any appointment into that position.
And you've applied in the past?
Yes, I have had discussions. I made special trips to Grand Cayman, meeting at the government headquarters with discussions with everybody in government, every politician, previous ones. Imagine, I've been doing this for 40 years. How many politicians I've seen come and go into authority, and none of them could get anything done about a position like that. And what I'm saying is very disturbing and annoying and aggravating that they go and bring in someone and put in a position whereof I've been here doing this, and they won't recognize me into that field. And I'm asking for those people that were on the talk show congratulations to the lieutenant commander. And I tried to get on there that morning that they were on to have a discussion with them. And you can ask around people in the Marine Department about Raymond and Cayman Brack. I mean, when they call me saying someone is missing or in trouble, I act on it just like it was my son or any one of my family members. I had put utmost respect and attitudes and everything else. I leave my food on the table and go out, take a drive out to see if I can see anything with the binocular. When it comes to saving lives at sea, I have done that. Leave my breakfast on the table, my lunch, you name it. And I've been called out of bed every hour and every half an hour, often day and night, to assist people out there. And that's what I want to continue doing whenever anyone is in trouble. But people just do not have anything to say to support me in that field. I buy my antennas, my radios, Lloyd's of London, never put in one penny to get Raymond his tower. That was my idea and my hard work while working with Power and Light. And when I come back to Cayman Brack from Little Cayman doing work, I started building my tower on time off on the weekends, and I got my tower constructed and built, and now I can't get back up on it since Paloma because the staircase is gone. A quote was put in by 2 contractors to have that tower staircase built back, and one generous man from Grand Cayman gave one donation to it, but nothing has been done to get that tower back, which that has been a very instrumental thing. And I climbing up there and taking a binoculars and viewing where as the boat broke down or drifting around Cayman Brack or Little Cayman, having a good view from 50 feet up in air.
I'll tell you what you do certainly is an invaluable service to the country, and maybe, not consolation, but maybe it'll actually remind you what they say, don't store up your treasures here on earth, So, man, continue to press on, sometimes the race isn't, for the faint of heart. Hey, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes,
indeed.
sir. Thank you very much as well. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Mr. Raymond, for those who know, you can always find him on Channel 16. Others have his cell number, and an incredible resource at times, Let's pause, though, take a short break. When we come back, more Talk Today.
One TradeX knows there's more than one way to invest. One TradeX is the Cayman Islands' only fully licensed online broker-dealer, offering discount trading services to individual investors and traders, hedge fund managers, and family offices. One TradeX has the most competitive online trading prices of any offshore broker worldwide, with no custody or management fees, free demonstration accounts, and no charge to open an account with a $5,000 minimum deposit. Trade stocks, options, futures, bonds, and Forex. Learn more and open your free demo account today at OneTradeX.com. OneTradeX, the Cayman Islands' #1 choice for online brokerage. OneTradeX is licensed to conduct securities investment business by the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority.
Tune in to Talk Today for the Celebrate Cayman Giveaway Contest. Celebrate Cayman is a national celebration of our culture, history, and community as we commemorate the 60th anniversary of our coat of arms. From August 27th to September 26th, Talk Today will be giving away daily prize bags for our resident history buffs. How well do you really know your Cayman history? Test your skills on Talk Today.
Talk Today. But I do have some questions. Talk Today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk Today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. It's open line, 1-800-534-8255. A couple of calls in the queue. Hey, welcome. Thank you for sharing with us. Good afternoon. Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. All right, if you're able to, you may just turn off the radio or step away from it. It makes it easier for you. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. You want to talk today?
Hello, sorry?
Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, I just called about Mr. Scott there. Just listen to him. I was saying that should be something that put in the schools for the knowledge of Caymanians, things that are happening all around us and we don't even know about. And like where the ships come from, what they're carrying from different ports. That itself is something that should be taught in the schools. And I cannot believe that government is not paying Mr. Scott a very good salary. I mean, the things I didn't hear is unbelievable. I would like to hear him go on a talk show one day and relate things that he do continually, how he started and everything. I mean, to me, it's a disgrace, it's a shame that our government can neglect a man who is so willingly doing so much to have these islands. And I hope one of the talk shows will get him on. They came on too. To get him to relate all that he does. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot for telling.
All right, thank you, too, sir. All right. 1-800-534-8255. Try the other line. All right. Well, when you're ready to join us, go right ahead, man. We're here for you. Some years ago, we did have Mr. Scott on, and I think, as the caller shared, he has a wealth of knowledge, as Mr. Scott shared just then. That's what he was relaying from the top of his head, not in a kind of prepared script. Now, many people, making an invaluable contribution on equally. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Hi, good afternoon.
You're hearing me?
Yeah, are you hearing us?
Yes, I'm hearing you. What's the topic on today's talk today?
Today it's open line.
Oh, it's open line. You can talk about anything.
Well, pretty much, yeah.
All right. I have something that's been disturbing me from the last couple of weeks, and I'm trying to get on the air to talk about it with one of the talk show hosts. So I'm glad I get you today, Mr. Sterling.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the situation that I have. Recently, I read in the papers where a high-ranking deputy chief immigration officer who was found guilty by scientific evidence that he had over the limit of alcohol in his system. And then the judge is going to say that she found him not guilty for driving under the influence of alcohol. I don't understand that.
Was it also that there was some in the evidence given that perhaps something with the machine or the process or the way that was done and not properly followed as like two officers present, one wasn't there or something? So
no, but the fact still remains, Mr. Sterling, that when they did the breathalyzer test, it was shown that he was like 200 something over the limit.
Well, he was.
So I mean, if the instrument that we're using to assess the amount of alcohol you have in your system, I mean, I can't see how can a judge overrule scientific evidence and found a defendant not guilty. That is my problem.
But, and I hear your contention, but then if there's a process that should be followed, would we not want that process to be followed? Not to...
Yes, but what they're saying, about one officer, not this and the other officer, you know how many other people in this island have get disqualified because they were over the limit of alcohol consumption?
But the process was followed, right?
Okay, so you are saying now the reason why the judge found him not guilty, that he was not over the limit? That's what you're saying?
No. I'm just asking you based on what you shared and what was presented. I didn't follow the case that intimately. But let me ask you, while we question that, what about the instance, wasn't there some sitting judge recently that had a crash, was only her vehicle involved?
Prior to that, there was a judge who was found under the influence, and as far as my knowledge can tell me, that they brought in another judge from Bermuda to try her, and she was disqualified.
From driving?
From driving under the influence of alcohol because she was over the limit.
Mm.
And that was by a breathalyzer test. That's a scientific instrument. So I can't understand how that magistrate find this hierarchy immigration officer not guilty And the evidence is there. Regardless of what occurred with who was not there or when and the officer this and that, we can't dispute the scientific evidence.
But should we also not be willing to accept that there should be a process? Now, I hear your argument, and I'm not going to belabor it, but certainly we're asking, should there be a process that in all instances should be followed just to make sure that there isn't any... Yes, I agree that there's a process and we have to follow the process. But the facts still remain, murder is murder. And if somebody kills somebody without premeditation, that is murder. Right.
If you accidentally kill somebody by driving a car or insanity or whatever, that is manslaughter. But
so the two are different then, even though the consequence is still the same, somebody died.
Right. So what I'm saying, the breathalyzer test show that the man was over the limit. So I can't see why he was being not guilty of drunken driving when the breathalyzer test showed that he was over the limit. I think that the prosecutor should appeal that case, regardless of the fact of whatever said. That is not justice carried right there.
Probably some who would, without question, agree with you. Others might say, well, there's some more to it than that. So.
No, Mr. Sterling, I know you're a fair man, and let's be fair with each other. I mean, the law is for everybody. But if you drink and you're found guilty of the offense, I can't see how the judge, what evidence she have after the scientific evidence proved the fact that the man was over the limit.
But respectfully, in our society, and perhaps it's the same in other parts of the world, but is the law really the same for everybody? I mean, not speaking to this case specifically.
The same for everybody, but, Sterling, I just say, it's just to say how sometimes some people can get away with something just because they have a good lawyer or maybe the judge. I don't know. I don't know. But I believe in fairness.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in fairness.
Fairness and integrity.
And I believe that you're a fair man. If you were the judge, I think you would have dealt with it differently. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, have a blessed day. Keep continue to do the good work. Bye. You have a nice day, sir.
Amen, sir. To you as well. And, I can understand the caller's contention. And perhaps as we look at some things in society, we have to question sometimes, on one hand, what comes before the courts, can they do more than, how it's been prepared and presented? On the other hand, do we need to be a little bit more, a little more thorough, perhaps a little more objective, maybe have a little more integrity. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Tomorrow's Thursday, so join Mr. Art in the morning as he brings you all that excellent discussion and for the record. As we close out, though, respectfully, this person writes on our WhatsApp, I agree with the caller, we're the immigration employee. I think that sentiment echoes many. Tomorrow we also have some other things scheduled on our discussion, including a discussion on the port, cruise port, cargo port, the Georgetown port, whatever it's called. That's going to be part of our discussion as we have some people scheduled to join us in the studio. So join Mr. Art in the morning. Come back for a talk today right after the midday news and midday meditation. And until then, be blessed.